Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Do I really need the mic? Yes.
On the mic.
Okay, I'll use it. I'm going to take the outdoor. So hi everyone. I'm Anira Kata. On behalf of Durban Book Fair, Little Park Trust, Valley Trust, and Itaquini Municipality, welcome to the Roshni Unider's launch of Specks of Dust. And I continue that round of applause. So our Facebook Live viewers, hi. We're going to try to try and engage you as much as possible. If you guys want to drop any questions, please do so on you're going up on production's account. So drop us your questions, and it's so kind to check it out. So, Prabashini, I know you've been past 18 years, right? And this is such a fabulous experience for me as your friend to be launching you at today's fair. For the benefit of the audience, tell them about yourself, your literary journey, and what has brought you to this point.
Thank you, Anina, for hosting me. And thanks to Anivesh and team for putting up the book fair once a month and in honor of us authors and hosting us upcoming new authors. My literary journey has been this book that I've written. I wanted to write it for the last 25 years. It's something that's very close to my heart, and the reason why I say it's close to my heart because ever since I can remember, I've been an advocate for children's rights. So so 3 years ago, I penned this in 2.5 weeks. So I started my health science degree, and then I decided, okay, now that I'm in university, I'm sure I can, write this book. So I penned this in 2.5 weeks. It was I don't know how to explain what the journey was like, because it was quite an emotional journey in terms of trying to gather all the discrimination in one book. Discrimination against children or discrimination against women, racism. So it was quite a heartfelt journey for those 2.5 weeks and beyond that.
So let's just take a few steps forward.
Yeah.
So you penned this book in 2.5 weeks.
Yes.
And that was while you were doing your BSc in Public Health, right?
Yes.
Now, Specks of Dust, just give us a very brief synopsis, not too in-depth. Just tell the audience what is it about, what the main crux of the book is. And then maybe we can take it from there.
Okay, Divya, the main character in the book, she's born in an Indian family. And during this time, I was doing my public health science degree, and so I knew I came up with a lot of stats on child abuse and everything. I've actually got some over here, and some of it is like 1 in 2 children aged 2 to 17 suffered violence in the past year. Okay? And then 1 in 4 adults were physically abused as children. So coming with all that stats behind the book, I tried to make Divya, in fact, if you think of a series of unfortunate events, that's what Divya experiences, a series of unfortunate events. So Divya experiences child abuse, she experiences sexual abuse, she sees what racism looks like in the apartheid era, and sexism as well. Yes.
Okay. So like gender-based violence, mental health issues,
Yes.
Child abuse, sexual abuse, rape. But these are all these are themes that are very prevalent in the book.
Yes.
Right? And but you actually took it one step further. As much as we have racial bias in the book,
Yes.
you've taken it to bias within our own community and right down to the color of Indian people's skin.
Yes.
Skin tone.
Yes.
Fair people get more privileges, so to speak, as opposed to people with darker skin.
Yeah.
Now, these are all very, very pertinent issues, which sadly still affect society, right? And how was it bringing it all together? I know if I read the back of the book, Melissa's story from the USA said, "I'm still trying to process the roller coaster ride the book put me on." You as an author, if a reader went through this roller coaster ride, I can just imagine you as an author trying to bring about all these issues, these social injustices to the fore. It must have been quite an emotional journey to even think of some of the
atrocities that actually happen
to children. Mainly, I read about it, and there's a lot of atrocities that's happening to children, and how these children eventually take those, being in this dark, deep pit of despair, how they actually manifest it as they grow older, and that's the scary part. We sometimes as adults would look at somebody and say, "Oh, but how could you be so awful?" But take a step back. In fact, take 10 steps back and look at the actual crux. And we as a society, we're failing somewhere by not bringing these things to the fore.
Exactly.
But I mean, the stereotypes imposed on us by social and personal environments, they are shackles really. And you have broken these shackles, right? And by breaking these shackles, you have shattered the glass ceiling. You've set the bar really high, okay? But this book could potentially be deemed as quite controversial.
Definitely.
How has the response from outside people been so far?
So the females' response to the book were quite, the females connected to the characters. They were okay with the characters, but I found that I gave quite a few males to read the book, and they found it cringeworthy. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle what was happening in the story. Because it's quite a visual and vivid story. And that was the reason why I wrote it, that because I wanted that impact. If men are feeling uncomfortable about this book, that means they need to do something about it. They need to do something about why they're feeling uncomfortable. Right? As women, we can understand it. We can understand even from a child's perspective. We can understand the feelings, the emotions. But with men, especially if they feel like, I'm not like that. Or there's no way I would do that to my child. And by the way, the book represents male and female abuse to children, so it's not both, just not males, it's not biased, because child abuse happens from both genders, right? My kids read the book, and they understand the social injustices in the world. So they were quite happy with it. But men that weren't, feel like, I don't do that, weren't happy with it.
Okay. So I think what theme is bringing to the fore is that you're very, sorry, I'm just going to skip to a page here. Okay. So, in fact, the very first lines of the book, not even the book, it's a little excerpt right at the beginning. If they'd known, would they have swept the specks of dust under the carpet too? Now, as much as this would actually mean, in context of the book, Darun and Divya being the main characters, also Divesh and Rose being their parents, and you also have the likes of Joseph and all of them, right? Joseph is my favorite character, I have to bring his name in, right? But if they had known, would they have swept the specks of dust under the carpet too? It's very much evident, even to us. It's not just the characters of the book, it's us. We are equally responsible for the children of our world.
Yes.
Okay, so it very much encompasses us as people, as individuals. We all have a responsibility. And it brings me to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He actually said once, in one of his speeches, I'm not sure which one it was, he said, we stop living the day we stop, to the effect of, we stop living the day we stop worrying about the future, And so well done to you for actually bringing forth these social taboos.
Yes, I found it very necessary to speak about it because, like the book says, you keep all the secrets hidden, and I believe that in order for society to change, we need to bring the secrets out into the open. We need to talk about it. So this particular book is a conversation starter. It's not to point fingers as well on generational gaps. It's not to do that. It's not to point fingers to anybody, but it's to start communicating what we go through as society, especially in the Indian culture. Like colorism is so prevalent in our Indian culture. Okay, I haven't personally experienced it, but I know people that have. And I know how detrimental it is, and I know how detrimental it is to mental health.
Yes.
So I have touched on so many topics on this book, and it does end in a cliffhanger.
It does. So we have the next one.
Yes. So and the point of it is to bring all this up. In order for society to heal, we need to talk about the things that people don't want to talk about.
Yes, in other words, don't sweep the specks of dust under the carpet.
Yes, we need to speak about it. We need to heal from it.
So as you say, the book is a conversation starter. And that's just what it is. It's a conversation starter, but it's not supposed to end here. We're supposed to take the lessons that we learn out of this book. We're supposed to take it going forward and apply it in our lives. As much as we may say, we don't feel this. There is a bit of us that do it. Whether we may think it, even if we think it means that we actually done it. We may not bring forth. We may not, of course, we may not be, part and parcel to abusing kids or anything of that sort. But the racial bias, the societal bias, all those things actually affect us. It affects the future generation. And I think if we want a better world for our kids, it has to start with us. It definitely has to start with us.
Yes. And except for things, for example, I'm totally against spanking. For me, even the act of just hitting a child on the bum is demeaning to a child. I don't like spanking in laws because it leaves a very gray area. And we don't need gray areas when it comes to social justices or justice for children. We can't have that gray area and say, you know what, it's okay to spank a child a little bit. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's either or. There is no gray area when it comes to abuse or when it comes to abusive actions.
Do you think the education system, the way it is there enough being told or being taught to the children and to the parents about these societal social injustices? Is there enough, like in the book, we had the child being molested, but the child didn't speak up out of fear, right? How good are we as adults, or the education system, or just in general, how safe are children in knowing that if they come to an adult, they're actually going to be taken seriously? Because right now, from what I get from the book, people are afraid. And as much as that part of the book was set in the 1980s during the Black consciousness,
it's so prevalent.
It's still very much prevalent, yes. If not more so.
Yes. I mean, I think there was an incident in one of the schools recently where one of the girls were molested, or the children are being molested. I can't remember the actual.
When we read social media all the time.
Yes.
But because you've also been part of the education system as well, how did that define the way you wrote the book?
Look, I can speak from a homeschooling my kids' point of view. Okay, I can't speak from the education system itself because my kids never went to school. I mean, the older one did go to school, but he was taken out in grade 3. So I can speak about what I do with my kids at home. And how I bring my kids up is that no topic is off the table if they wanted to speak to me. And I'm being very open because that's what you want to speak, want your children to have with you as a parent. They must be able to come and tell you anything, and you must be able to have every topic on the table. And that's worked for me really well.
So
I would like to
basically,
think-
saying honest and upfront communication, and communication is key.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to open the questions out to the audience. If anybody, is there anybody who would actually like to ask Prabhashini any question, talk to her, chat to her? Please don't be shy. I will sanitize this one before I bring it to you. Anybody? You couldn't ask your mother at home,
Hello? Mom, why did you expose us like that?
What you mean expose you?
About the conversation we had at home.
Teaching us, Mom. I'd like people to know how I converse with my kids because it's a testimonial to how you can have conversation with children at home.
Take care, Mom.
Anybody else? Nobody else.
Maybe I should just say a comment if I can.
Yes.
Prabhashini, okay, I'm Maggie. I think a lot of the stuff that you've written in your book pertains to me as well on a personal level. It's a brilliant aspect to bring about because yes, people do sweep a lot of specks under the carpet. From my own personal experience, from molestation, rape and all of that, being brought up in an Indian home, exactly the same thing. So society has created this whole dynamic of don't tell people. It's an embarrassment. It's shameful. It's you become somebody that you should never be. And like I was speaking to the boys earlier, it's don't allow what happened to you be determined by what society tells you you should be. So I am so proud of you for bringing this out because it's something that I'm very passionate about myself. And breaking down this barrier of who we are according to society, what we should be doing according to society, and shoving things away is not helpful, it is not conducive to people growing up. Kids are brought up in the society right now as I'm not worthy, I don't belong, and it causes a whole spur of issues within their mind, within their psyche, and hence we have a lot of disturbed kids out there. So, well done. Brilliant. I'm so proud for the fact that it's being brought out into the open amongst our society as an Indian community and to the broader communities at large. So well done. Thank you.
Thanks, next. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the whole Specks of Dust journey, right? And I'm going to ask you the self-publishing journey. Many people have these stories that they have written, some of them have written, some of them have it in their heads, but they don't know the self-publishing journey. Tell us about self-publishing journey versus the traditional publishing. You would know it totally.
It is a difficult journey, self-publishing. I won't say it's a piece of cake. And I went through like about 3 publishers. I mean, not publishers, sorry, 3 editors, and I hope all that experiences with my editors, I learned from some of the lessons. But I won't mention that part of it. But it's very rewarding because you have control of your work, you have control of sales and how to market it. And I mean, the downside is obviously it's not publicized as you would like it to be publicized. And I've got my own public relations. Yeah, she's sitting right here. So, Anira's helped me a lot. She really has helped me.
Such a friend is close.
Yeah, she has helped me a lot.
But really, the people who don't know, traditional publishing is when you have the likes of Bloomsbury, Penguin, all of that, Penguin House. They have volumes upon volumes. People are sending their manuscripts all the time, and they have to read it. They have to then put it into a publishing schedule, and if you meet their certain requirements. Now, if you don't meet the requirements, it's not to say your manuscript is bad. It's just to say that your manuscript at that point did not meet what genre they were looking for. So just as a matter of interest, the Harry Potter series have been rejected by, I think, 12 times. It had been rejected by 12 publishing houses in the UK. And eventually, Bloomsbury took it over, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I'm sure all those other publishing houses are kicking themselves because they ended up making the first billionaire author, being J.K. Rowling. So anybody out there wanting to write that book, actually do so, because there's so much. Durban actually. So my reason for blabbering on about it is that Durban is actually, or has been awarded, the UNESCO City of Literature status. And that became possible because of authors like Pravashni, like Kiro Naidu, late Rani Govinda, all fabulous authors, and they contributed to our city getting that. We need to retain that City of Literature, UNESCO City of Literature status. And the way that we can do it is by supporting local authors, like supporting the book fairs. Just some breaking news just in, there's 2 books. One by Dr. B.P. Singh. He actually won the Itiquini's One City, One Book Award a couple of years ago. He wrote When the Chalk is Down. His book is actually going to film, and it's getting adapted for film rights. And they start shooting very soon. I think by November this year it will be going. And Rudendra Gavanda, he's a teacher. Dr. B.P. Singh was also an ex-educator. Rudendra Gavanda has had matric set works. His book, Sugarcane Boy and, The English Major's Daughter. He wrote those 2 books. Now, Sugarcane Boy has just been told that they are getting film rights as well. So our Indian authors are actually making it for themselves. And very soon, guys, Specks of Dust, chat to me up, organize the company tickets to the premiere after I get mine first. But so support local, and I know we're really grateful for you guys having come here today to support Pravashni. We've got the Women Empowering Women's Group, make some noise, guys, who have come through as well. So thank you very much for that. Pravashni, is there anything else you would like to say?
Really, I'm not much of a talker, sorry.
She's not much of a talker when she's here, otherwise you have to tell her to be quiet. But guys, thank you so much for coming through. Pravashni's books are available right here. Get your signed copy if you haven't. She also, where else is it available, Pravashni?
With Anivesh, made in Chatsworth website and on Amazon.
Okay, so it's Kindle version as well. So the ebook version is also available?
The ebook version, but not the printed book yet.
Okay.
That I'm still working on.
All right, so you guys know there's a whole lot of books there, so please make your way down there. To all our Facebook Live listeners, thank you for joining in. As you know, www.madeinchatsworth or madeinDurban.co.za, either one works. And Amazon Kindle as well for your ebook. So please mosey along that way and support local. Thanks, guys. Yay. Let's have it one more round.
Yay! You're such a lovely host.